So hello to this video where I will be flying from Helsinki, Finland to St. Petersburg, Russia. And this is actually the first time I'm going to fly this leg. And I just want to demonstrate the capabilities of the FlyByWire A32nx mod that you can download for free from the FlyByWire GitHub website, and it's bringing in a lot of capabilities that are currently missing with the MS Flight Simulator 2020 A320 version that comes out of the box after the latest update even. So coming to this default A320 model in Microsoft Flight Simulator, it's lacking a lot of capabilities. It's getting to be more stable after every patch, every update that there is, but you miss a lot of functions from the MCDU, the computer that you program different parameters and configure your plane to fly. And also the sounds and the behavior of the aircraft is not as it should be currently. So that's why I decided to try the fly-by-wire mod that is available. And actually I'm using the development version 0.5.5.1, which is the latest. And the development version seems to work pretty good for me, so no problems. But at first I did have some challenges because after I installed the fly-by-wire version, I have had a previous version like 0.3 or something, and now after this latest fly-by-wire version, it seems to work okay, but then I start getting these crash to desktop, just announced crashed during the flight, during the takeoff, before takeoff, during the approach, cruising, whatever. So it was very annoying because I couldn't see the pattern until I figured out that, okay, it seems to be related to switching views. So if you do that, I still don't know how it happens, but if you do that frequently, there might be some sequence of views, or I don't know where it was, but I was getting the crash to desktop. So I start avoiding using those quick views like Control 5, Control 4, Control 1, Alt 1. But of course, when you are used to it, it just comes naturally while you are flying, and then it crashed. So I decided to give it one more go, and I did the following. I cleaned my community folder, so I removed everything underneath the community folder, and then I reloaded the fly-by-wire, and also I cleared the local cache. So in the simulator, I'm trying to find it now. Where was it? It's probably in the general and data. There is an option, rolling cache, which seems to be off right now, so I want to put it on. And well, this is odd because I had this cache on previously, but yeah, this was on. I had defined something like 8 gigabytes of local rolling cache, and I did delete it. So I deleted it, and then I shut down my computer. So of course I close the program, save these settings. Okay, I will now have this rolling cache, 8 gigabytes. Okay, I have it now. That's interesting to see if the flight simulator, I mean the fly-by-wire, is now stable enough. So coming back to that, deleting the local cache, then turning off the flight simulator and shutting down the computer, so powering off, and then powering back on. Then I also checked that I don't have any extra applications running background in the memory. So I went through the memory and killed few of those processes that I don't actually need. Then I restarted the flight simulator, and amazingly, after that, it has been stable. So no more crash to desktop. It's working perfectly. So let's see. I have now initiated the cache. And one more thing regarding the fly-by-wire, it's consuming for me in my setup where I have i7 CPU and 64 gigabytes of RAM, and then I'm running the latest RTX 3080 OC graphics card. So pretty good card. It's bringing me more FPS. But of course the CPU is not up to date, so it's like 2 years old. So a lot of upgrading actually regarding the CPU, then it would mean like a new motherboard and new memories and so on and so forth. So I haven't done that. I only bought the new graphic cards, which gave me like a 10 FPS more than I had before with my 1080 graphic card. But then for the graphics, let's see, I'm trying to find I'm running this as windowed for the video purposes. So I have this extra large 49 inch curved Samsung display with it's a 32:9 format display, so it's pretty wide and it's nice to fly, but for video purposes I need to run this as a windowed version. Let's see, refresh rate, so I will drop this down to low because they say that it's consuming a lot of FPS if you run it like high or ultra settings, so I just lowered it to low. So let's see how it goes. What I really like with the fly-by-wire mod is that now it works, and now the A32nx is flyable. You can program a lot of parameters in and they are working, so it's very nice. And it's bringing in also new features and functions like the integration to SimBrief. So SimBrief is the flight planning tool, a free tool where you can create an account and you go to the website and then you play with it, and you can create a flight plan where you put your departure and destination information in, and select from the list your aircraft type, and it will fill in automatically few of those parameters, like how much fuel are you going to need. It will create the amount of packs, cargo, and those kind of parameters, where with what you can then download to Microsoft Flight Simulator, and it will go directly into the MCDU, so you don't need to type it in. So if you want to type in all the information, you can do it, but this will make your life a bit easier to get them from the SimBrief. You just put your user ID information in the MCDU. There is a page for that, which I will show you, and then it will link to your account and get that information, flight plan information from the website, and download it into your computer. Then the other nice feature is that there is a METAR available, so you can get the destination, airport, METAR, weather information to put into your flight computer for approach. So that's very nice. And then there are very extensive checklists. So let me kill this background music. Okay, so very nice checklist, very extensive checklist for the A320, which you can tick, and it will guide you through. You can see what knobs and dials you need to turn into what direction, and so on and so forth. So it's making it easier to remember different things that you need to take care of before certain phase of your flight. And then sounds. There are some additional sounds to the knobs and switches that you are switching. Also announcement to the flight crew that please be seated for takeoff and things like that. So it's very nice addition. But let us go into the, I will just enable the sound. Let's go to the flight planning of the flight simulator. So it's already dark up here where I live, near the Helsinki. It says Vantaa, which is an Helsinki Vantaa is the official name of the airport. So we pick the from airport and then type in the destination airport. It says 28 left, and it's 32 minutes, but we are not flying direct, so 28 left. So we are picking up the high altitude airways, and here you can see the waypoints, not so many. 28 left. We will take the 28 left is here. Y Z. Let's take the Z one. And we are not flying in direct, so we are taking these stars from the list, and from here you can see like what's happening here. 41 minutes, and it's quite far away from even further. This one, I like this one. 39 minutes, taking the northern route and then curving back to the airport. Departure, I don't mind. We can take the straight route out from the airport. And flight conditions, I will go with the live traffic and live weather and time. So it will be dark. And yeah, let's see, the ACAR 1B is our star, so let's just send that double check when we go into the flight computer to see our flight plan. I am not going to, and I don't need to do any weight and balance thing because I'm going to download it from the SimBrief. So at this point it's just getting the route done and then fly. And then we just waited to load the aircraft for us. And yeah, you could do cold and dark flight as well, but for this video purposes I'm not going through all the steps because it's all in the checklist basically. So you could just, when you start from the gate, then the plane will be cold and dark, so you need to start from scratch. So powering up and turning on the systems, doing the IRS alignment and all that kind of stuff, which takes time. But now we are starting at the end of the runway, so the plane is half ready.
Helsinki Tower, FlyByWire 19er 64 at runway 22 left, ready for takeoff IFR to Tokyo.
And we are ready, yes. So, not to have it as such dark place, we put the dome light on to see the switches. It's already telling us, so this is already also nice that we have this this below the line information. So we don't have any blue here, which would mean that there are some things that we need to do. All is green, so we are basically, according to this display, we are basically ready to take off. But we are actually not, because we need to download the information from SimBrief. We haven't got any fuel. We have some fuel on board, which is probably too much, which is a default value. So we are going to change that by going to the MCDU to program our parameters, which is Control 5. And here's the menu. So this is the MCDU menu that is visible here. And to get into the SimBrief integration, or actually the integration is here behind the options and AOC and SimBrief. There is the information where you put your user ID in, and it will log into your SimBrief account to get the information. So that's behind there, that button. We are not going there. We are going to the thru AOC menu and init information. So something that we put into the init page. And currently it's blank, so we don't have this information, flight numbers, departure, destination, anything. We don't have anything. We have the default fuel values there. So init data request, we push that button and it will download flight plan, departure, destination from the SimBrief. So there's the page 1. Let's check that page 2. Okay, so don't know, and I don't know what this auto land option here is right now, but init page and then performance, weight and balance information we need to import. So currently is something like, this is what we are going to load. So block fuel is not 9.5 tons, it's 5.2 tons. And then there is a second page with the zero fuel weight, center of gravity, packs, and payload information. So we need to load those one as well. And now that information is imported from the SimBrief. Now we can go to the init page, where we can see our route. Cost index is not there. In SimBrief I put the 30, so I will go with the 30. Cruising altitude will be 380, so 38,000 feet, and it will give you the temperature. IRS is already done. And here we need to just push this button because we don't have any values here, but we have these orange boxes. So just press this one and it will fetch the values that you need to type in, and push it again and it will put the zero fuel weight and center of gravity information here and the fuel amount that is loaded into your tanks. And now it should say 5.2 tons instead of 9.5. So the weight is done. But then we need to do the performance check as well, because we don't have V1, VR and V2 speeds. And actually we are going to check the flaps is like the default is 1 before takeoff, so let's put that information into the MCDU. So 1 to the flaps. Flex temp is never this low value, like 20 degrees, so I have been using something around 55 degrees. And then again, orange boxes, so just press the button and you will get the value, so press it again and it will be inserted. And never mind about this because it disagrees because you don't have values here, but you just double press and you will get the values and the message goes away. So we have the takeoff parameters inserted, flex temp is there, and the speeds are there. We check the climb page, which seems to be okay. Cruising, descending, approach information, and there is a weather information that we need to put in before we land. So that's what we are going to get from the MCDU menu and the extra menu that they have added to the FlyByWire mod. And what else? Now that we are up north and it's probably minus degrees outside, let's see, it's -4 and it's cloudy, so we need to put the anti-ice heating on, because otherwise it will give you a warning that the ice is starting to accumulate on the wings and on the fuselage. So that one, and then we can also turn up the heat a bit, so not to feel like freezing temperatures, because that one is working. And then I will put something around 8,000 feet for our initial climb. I don't know that yet, but let's see. We will hear it from the dialogue that we have. Okay, and then the non-smoking switch on. Cabin ready. We have an anti-ice system on, landing lights on, parking brake is on. So, and just to be sure, before takeoff, we can go through the list again. These steps have been already completed by the computer. And takeoff, it's like release thrust levers to flex temp, flex position, which is not the full takeoff thrust. It's a 1 knot. There's a click, so 1 click down from the full throttle. Put the chrono on. Station, landing gear up, guard spoiler, disarm. I'm just trying to remember that. What to see to check that I remember everything. So it seems to be okay. So we are ready to take off. So let's give one more ping to the cruise. I mean, to the crew. Then we release the parking brake. 30% of thrust. It seems to be balanced. So going to flex temp. So as you can see, it's not the full throttle, but almost a full. V1 and rotate. left turn here.
Flyboy 19er, 64 contact Tampa Center on 121 decimal tree.
121 decimal tree for Flyboy 19er 64. Tampa Center, Flyboy 19er 64 is at 1,200 feet, climbing 9,000 feet.
Severe ice detected.
Flyboy 19er 64 Tampa Center, continue to RVEP as planned. QNH tree 0 decimal 21. Flyboy 19er 64 verify squawking 5454.
Okay. Thrust lever to climb. Position flaps to 0. Then I need to check the squawk.
64 verify squawking 5454.
454. Now we have the squawk. Let's disarm the ground spoilers. We have engaged the autopilot. And then I need to see that what was the 9,000 feet. Oh, no. 9,000. Yeah. And at this point I'm just quickly checking that we have radio frequency for the ILS system. So it doesn't say what landing system, so what runway has this frequency been tuned on, but I'm trusting that it's for the right runway that the landing system is in operation when we are approaching. So, but as the flight time is pretty short, I can also go into the MCDU menu, ATSU menu, AOC menu, and get the weather request for the St. Petersburg. And I'm sending this. Coming back to flight plan. So there will be company message line coming in, popping up here when we have the meta information for St. Petersburg. And now, as you can see,
Flyboy 19er 64 climb and maintain flight level 210.
we're going to 210.
Climb and maintain flight level 210, Flyboy 19er 64.
And at 10,000 feet, we are going to turn off the landing lights and probably turn off the seatbelt sign as well. Let's put the constraint as well. Okay, now we are at 10,000. So turn off and the takeoff light as well, and the seatbelt. So let's go and check the company message while we are climbing. So we need to go to that ATSU menu, AOC menu, and receive messages, and the meta. Here we are. So the barometric pressure is 1022, -2 is the temperature, and the winds are actually meters per second if I'm reading that right. 3 meters per second. Okay. 200 from 200, 3 meters per second. So almost like a calm weather. So 10, 22, 22, 10 plus minus 2 and 200, 3. I don't have the minimum decision altitude from the approach chart, so I'm just putting something like 400 in here, so it will come visible to the PDF. So QNH will be like a standard. We are above 10,000, and actually we could use the weather radar as well. It is a nice addition, so we can see the clouds. As you can see, we can see stars, so there are no clouds.
Flyboy 19er 64 climb and maintain flight level 330.
Climb and maintain flight level 330, Flyboy 19er 64.
And one most annoying thing with the default Microsoft A320 is that at this altitude, just above 20,000, it doesn't climb very well after this altitude to the higher altitudes. So the climb rate, which is here, is like 2,500 feet per minute. In that default version, it's like 100 feet or less. So for some reason, it won't get the power up. This is 89.8% for both engines, 89.9, almost 90% when we are climbing. The default version is down to 84%, and it can't keep the speed up while you are climbing. So basically, you need to do some manual tricks here. So you need to put the computer to the selected speed and slow it down, that it has enough power to climb to whatever cruising level you are the controller is guiding you to. So that's very annoying. With the fly-by-wire version, no problems. As you can see, it has enough thrust to keep up the speed and then keep like a decent climb rate to your destination altitude. Let's see the temperatures. So it's like 23 here, and forward cabin, aft cabin is 22. Use a bit of flood light here. Let's see if we have enough light. If I put the dome light off, how does it look? It looks pretty good. Let's jump outside for a moment, pressing insert. So nothing much to see here, other than we are approaching St. Petersburg. Let's see from the navigation. Akuru is our next waypoint at 17:28. So it's like 9 minutes from now. So we are approaching this waypoint, and after that it's like these numbered waypoints come every 2 or 3 minutes, or less than 2 minutes. So what do we say? 2, 3, 5, 7, 10, 15, 20, something like 25 minutes. And from the map, so we are at the Gulf of Finland currently, flying over, and then approaching St. Petersburg Pulkovo airport. There are a couple of planes flying around. This is the live traffic. So it's interesting to see actually how it's going to go, because this is my first time flying to St. Petersburg's airport, and to see that the ILS is working and the navigational points are okay. So let's see. And if we want to check already, like we are climbing, yeah, but then I don't even know if we ever get to the cruising altitude before we are going to ask our descent to start, so we don't care about that information. Descent preparation is landing elevation. It's going to be auto.
FlyByWire 64, contact Petersburg Center on 126.9er.
126.9er for FlyByWire 64. Petersburg Center, FlyByWire 64 is climbing through flight level tree 10 for flight level tree 30. FlyByWire 64 Petersburg Center, continue as planned.
So descent checklist is like start descent, MCDU, so performance descent, checking the parameters, flight plan, monitor the descent and the rate of descent, speed brakes as required. So I'm probably going to use speed brakes because for some reason the air traffic controller, they are letting you fly at the cruising altitude pretty close to the destination airport until they just ask you to drop down quite rapidly. So speed brakes are a good way of slowing down and getting better rate of descent for the aircraft. Cam status, landing lights, seatbelts, runouts. Okay.
FlyByWire 64 climb and maintain flight level 390.
Okay. Let's see if we
Climb and maintain flight level 390 FlyByWire 64.
So there seemed to be some sort of constraint regarding to the 39 flight level 390. So we can always ask to have like a lower flight level, like 4,000 feet lower, which is like 35,000.
Petersburg Center, Flyboy 1964. Request flight level 350. Flyboy 1964 climb and maintain flight level 350.
Okay, we got it. So that's actually our
Climb and maintain flight level 350, Flyboy 1964.
So pretty soon we are going to start our descent for St. Petersburg. Which means that when we are at the lower than 10,000 feet, we are going to activate the approach phase in the computer as well, because then that will configure the plane to fly lower speeds instead of the cruising speeds, like less than 250 knots. So that's something you need to do in order to configure your plane to fly below 10,000 and getting ready for the approach. Then you are going to activate the landing system, and then approaching to the final approach, actually aligning to the vector for the runway, you can activate the approach localizer, which will then get the fix for the radio beacon, which is aligned with the runway. Let's extend the range here, like 60 nautical miles, and there we can already see from the co-pilot's display that it's less than 60. Less than 60 nautical miles when we are there.
Flyboy 1964 descend and maintain flight level 230.
Okay.
Descend and maintain flight level 230, Flyboy 1964.
Here I will activate the speed brakes. With that, the plane will dive deeper. So speed is like 5500 feet per minute. And this is also nice that here in the information screen you have this information that the speed brakes are on, so that's something you don't have with the default model from Asobo and Microsoft. So you always need to like check your speed brake leverage position that okay, it's on or off. But here you can see it. Just checking, we go here. It will display. Seem to be some clouds or something. Okay, we are approaching our designated altitude, so I'm taking the speed brake off. And the decent rate will come up. And I, of course, forget to put the chrono on. Here we have some sort of idea how long we have been on board, so like on half an hour. So I can change the range a bit. Start to get some lower altitude as we go on. Only once it has been that the air traffic controller lost me somehow, or I lost it, and I couldn't get anything from the ATC, so I was pretty close to the airport and I was still flying like 15,000 feet or something. There was nothing, no information coming from the ATC, so I just had to land manually, doing some circling around to drop down the airplane to the 3,000 feet or something, and then making the approach by myself. Let's see if I lost the track here. It seems so. That plane is turning again. For some reason, it's doing this kind of stunts. So I just need to... Yeah, for some reason it's now aiming for the runway directly and ignoring all the waypoints, so the next waypoint should be like, oh no, I don't even know what. Come on, guys.
FlyByWire 19er, 6-4 descent and maintain FlyByWire19er64.
So I need to check this. LI 758, 758, 758. We're going to fly there. Let's go directly there. And put the autopilot on. And the speed brake. Let's hope that it will then pick up from there to the Arnott waypoint. This has been happening to me like a couple of times, that it will, for some reason, it will lose the rest of the waypoints just before the approach and go directly to the runway. So now, and it's showing up this very weird information regarding the next waypoint. So it's like it doesn't exist. So I probably need to go to Arnott. So let's go directly to Arnott. And please go there. I don't have anything for Arnott as well. No distance, not anything, but yeah.
FlyByWire19er64, you are 13 miles northeast. Descend and maintain 3,000 feet. Expect ILS Zulu runway 28 left approach by Arnott transition. Clear to Arnott. FlyByWire19er64, descend and maintain 2,500 feet.
This is crazy.
Descend and maintain 2,500 feet. Expect ILS Zulu runway 28 left approach via Arnott transition. Clear to Arnott FlyByWire19er64.
And we would need to be like at 3,000. Well, let's see.
Generic flight 8043, 0 miles east. Descend and maintain 2,500 feet. Expect ILS Yankee runway 28 left approach via Arnott transition. Clear to Arnott.
Descend and maintain 2,500 feet. Expect ILS Yankee runway 28 left approach via Arnott transition. Clear to Arnott, generic 582.
Let's see if it picks up the beeping after that. Okay, I'm already going to put the landing lights on. Still pretty high. No, it's not going to Pipri, so we need to put it there. Go to Pipri. Barometric pressure update here, and then we need to activate the approach phase. Config full. Landing system on. We are only 14 miles. This is not going to work, I would guess. To take this off so I can see 28 left, FI 28 left. Let's put the auto brake on medium. It's getting us the green dot speed, so it's Braking the speed. I mean, yeah, we are decreasing the speed, and now we can take it down to the 2,500 feet. Now it's going to
FlyByWire 64 12 miles east of Volkovo. Contact Volkovo Tower on 118.11 inbound on the approach. Tower on 118.1 FlyByWire 1964.
Now it's picking up the right waypoint, so
Volkovo Tower FlyByWire 6411 miles east inbound ILS thru runway 28 left approach.
we need to go
FlyByWire
down
Volkovo Tower.
faster.
Cleared ILS Zulu runway 28 left approach. QNH 30.21 wind 200 entry.
So we are doing the dive here, but
Cleared ILS
we need to do
Zulu
that.
runway 28 left approach. FlyByWire 64.
Okay, so it's a bit of a dive here. Let's try to manage. Okay, so
FlyByWire 64 cleared to land runway 28 left. Wind 200 entry.
Cleared to land runway 28 left. FlyByWire 64.
we are too close. Let's see if we try to put the flaps. Yeah. We get the overspeed warning. We are only 4 miles away, so this is not going to work. We didn't catch the... Yeah. Well, it's a go-around thing.
2,500.
Volkovo Tower, generic Papa Bravo Delta 5821 3 miles east inbound ILS Yankee runway 28 left approach. Generic Papa Bravo Delta 582 Volkovo Tower. Cleared ILS Yankee runway 28 left approach. QNH 30.21 wind 201 entry. Cleared ILS Yankee runway 28 left approach, generic 582.
So we missed it. Now it's more like heading thing. We need to go to heading. Let's take the 2,500 here. back to that waypoint. So we need to fly. Okay.
Volkovo Airport information, Echo 1700 Zulu. Wind 201 at tree. Visibility 6. Sky condition, few clouds at 500 feet, few clouds at 4,700 feet, few clouds at 11,400 feet. Temperature, -2. Dew point, 10. QNH tree 0.21. ILS Yankee runway 28 left and ILS 0 runway 28 right in use. Landing and departing runway 28 left and runway 28 right. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact you have Echo. Generic 582 go around. Generic 582, did you hear my last transmission?
So the waypoint we are going to go back is there. So we are flying past that one. Soon I will.
Generic 582, please acknowledge.
Distance is 10 nautical miles. We're going to get into the 15, I would say at least. Then I'm going turning around.
Generic 582, did you copy?
Volkovo Tower, Flyboy 1964 is going missed.
Flyboy 1964, contact Petersburg Center on 126.9.
Going to 126.9er, Flyboy 1964. Petersburg Center, Flyboy 1964 is missed approach at Volkovo. Flyboy 1964, you are 14 miles southeast. Climb and maintain 3,500 feet. Expect ILS Yankee runway 28 left approach via Obari transition.
Well,
Cleared to
I'm
Obari.
going to disregard that information right now just to make this faster. So direct to the FI-28. Thank you.
Flyboy 1964 climb and maintain 3,500 feet.
So now I'm getting distance and bearing. So I'm turning there. Hopefully catching that one. So normal speed brake. Actually going to arm it.
Flyboy 1964 descent
On
and
the
maintain
ground spoiler.
2,500 feet.
Thank you. I'm already at 2,500. Parametric reading is updated. 3021. We have the landing system on.
Flyboy
I'm going to
1964 descent and maintain 2,500 feet.
going to activate the approach phase
RJ
now.
Bill Sierra Tree, 21 your tree, 2 miles east. Descend and maintain 2,500 feet. Expect ILS Yankee runway 28 left approach via Barnett transition. Clear to element.
No, it's not going there.
Descend and maintain 2,500 feet. Expect ILS Yankee runway 28 left approach via Barnett transition. Clear to Arnett Archangel Air Tree 21.
Seems that it doesn't work as it should. Because I have this waypoint right in there. It will not fly in there. So I'm just hoping to get this approach phase activated and then like let's put the autopilot in.
2,500.
It's
Flight
not.
19er, 64 knowledge, last transmission.
This is unbelievable, but it doesn't work. Flaps 1. What we do it then? Like forced
Flight
landing.
19er, 64012 miles, southeast of Pulkovo. Contact Pulkovo Tower on 118.11 inbound on the approach.
Get there.
Flight
Come
19er,
on.
64, please acknowledge.
Well, I just have to fly manually then.
2,500.
Visibility is poor, so
Flight 19er, 64, did you copy?
where on earth are you going to go?
Flight 19er, 64 ISR flight plan is cancelled. Radar service terminated. Squawk 1200. Maintain VFR. Frequency change approved.
Okay, let's hope that it will track the there's the airport. Well, it's going to be manual then. Way off the line. Get there.
Archangel Air Tree 21, you are 13 miles east of Pulkovo. Contact Pulkovo Tower on 118.11 inbound.
Tower on 118.1 Archangel Air Tree 21. 500.
Siberian Airlines 5005 Heavy, you are 29 miles east.
100 above.
Descend and maintain 2,500 feet. Expect VOR DMB runway 28 right approach via Arnett transition. Clear to Arnett.
Minimum 300.
Descend and maintain 2,500 feet. Expect VOR DMB runway 28 right approach via Arnett transition. Clear to Arnett Siberian Airlines 5005 Heavy.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. 5.
This was a victory over technology. So, don't come here because the navigation is screwed. Pretty much. So I guess we ain't going to get any guidance for the gates or anything, so I'm just going to vacate the runway and then stop this flight here. Okay. Parking brake on. Normally we could just contact the ground. Let's see if it's available. Yeah, Pulkovo ground. Request taxi to gates.
Pulkovo ground, Flyboy 19er64 request taxi to the gate.
So let's see if I get the guidance line
Flyboy
here.
19er64 taxi to gate 76 via taxiway Alpha 4 Alpha.
Yes. We get it, so
Taxi
we can
into
take
gate
it.
76 via taxiway Alpha 4 Alpha.
2 kilometers
Flyboy
to the gate.
19er64.
Lines. I also have some challenges to turn display while on ground. Let's take these eyeless systems off. So I really hate these situations where the navigation gets screwed up when you are approaching the runway. So it's very annoying, and especially at the conditions, flying conditions that we have here today is like cloudy, a bit foggy, and nighttime. Got some corners. I have this guiding to the gate activate it from the control or the flight menu, because otherwise it would take me ages to get into the right gate, because as you can see there are not as many signs. You would need to have the charts for the airport to see all the taxiing gates and ways, and then still you would get lost. So this is the best and fastest way to get there, to have these lights. And we have the guy here, so we can bit too much of speed. And here we are. Parking brake on. We put the, well, let's put the dome lights on. External power. Take the anti-ice off. We'll turn off engine 1. Turn off engine 2. We take the fuel pumps off. We can turn off the lights. We can take the, well, let's have some light, and then we ask the ground services to get the jetway.
Pulkovo ground, FlyByWire 64. Could you please connect the jetway to the aircraft? FlyByWire 64. The jetway is going to be connected.
So at least we have the jetway connection working or not. Yeah, it's still extending, so it's going to be okay. Oh no, what happened? So still some things not working. Have it. Okay, so just have to redo it. So now we have the cabin door open. Basically those systems are off. Flaps, engine off, external power, so yeah, basically we are done. So thanks for watching, thanks for being there. So it wasn't as I planned like a smooth ride from the beginning to the end. We had some challenges while approaching, plane not flying the waypoints that were there. They were in the flight plan, but for some reason the plane just started to go crazy. So we had to improvise and fly manually. That's the tricky part then, if you have not flown a lot of Airbus 320, it's there might be some difficulties to handle it, but yeah, and mine wasn't perfect as well, but you'll get there with the practice. So thanks a lot for watching, and see you next time.